What's up everybody, and welcome back to Boat Restoration by Ben. On today's video I have something very special for you guys. I am standing on a 1999 Tiara 3500 open, and guess what? It's for sale. Alright, what's up guys? I've got a special one for you today. What we have here is a 1999 Tiara 3500 open. And wow, okay. Somebody said it'd been sitting for a while, and that is definitely the case just based on the black marks and streaks that I'm seeing. The owner reached out to me, and they, I guess, unfortunately need to get rid of it because they no longer use it anymore. The owner has dementia, so his brother is helping him sell it. But I just hopped on this boat for the first time. I've known about this boat for about a year now, and I was not sure what kind of condition it was, but just from the first glimpses, you guys can see it's been sitting fairly neglected for quite some time. But it is a nice Tiara. I know these things have a great cult following, and boy, it's almost identical to my Pursuit outside of the layout of the cockpit and down below. So welcome back. Today I'm going to show you this Tiara 3500 open. We're actually taking it to a marina to get hauled out today. This boat will be for sale, so if you guys are interested in this boat, shoot me a comment or send me an email or reach out via my website, boatrestorationbyben.com. Contact us, and I'll get you in the queue to come look at it, to see it, to put an offer in. We'll talk about pricing and numbers later down the road, but first and foremost, I want to show you guys this boat as it sits today, and we'll move things forward from there. So let's go ahead, we'll hop in, open things up, and do a quick walkthrough. Well, first and foremost, guys, you notice with all of these Tiaras, I mean, this is a big 35-foot boat. It is 13.5 feet wide at its beamiest in the middle, basically up by where the helm station is. And then, unlike the Pursuits, they typically have a swim platform, which is great. Twin straight shaft tunnel drives, and then this tapered transom, which is also unique for the Tiaras. There is the original dealer, built in 98, hallmarked 99. So it is a Tiara boat made in Holland, Michigan. And then first thing I notice is the deck is really chalky. The hull appears like it's very dirty, and the bottom, we'll see today what kind of condition it's in, but it's going to get cleaned off, and we'll see if it needs a new bottom. But it's chalky. It could use a great cleaning and buff job. It's got a nice aluminum arch, which, believe it or not, the powder coating is not failing, which is pretty surprising. We got our old gold style Tiara emblem. Of course, the windows, a little bit of powder coating failing, but ultimately the isinglass is actually in pretty good shape. You can see the deck's got a bunch of black streaks and mold and mildew on it, so that'll all power wash off. And then our big robust windshield, I talked about these back in the day. They could not curve glass, or it wasn't economical to curve glass, so actually we've got a bunch of different panels which make up this windshield, but all the glass is in good shape. It looks like the aluminum Framing is in decent shape with a little bit of powder coating chipping, but again, seems like it's in decent condition. This boat has allegedly been sitting here for several years. The owner has made several attempts to clean it up and fix it up over the years, but unfortunately, due to health reasons, they can no longer use the boat, and the best thing for it is to clean it up and sell it so the family can get their money out of it. So in the open style, it is somewhat still set up for fishing. So it's got some rod holders, it's got a nice big open space in the back here, room for seating, but then a nice lounger section of seating in the cockpit, much similar to my Pursuit. I've stepped on a few of the hatches. We all know that these hatches like to fail at the piano hinge, so I have no doubt a few of these hatches are soft at the piano hinges. Another thing we will check when the boat's out of the water is all of the through-hull fittings to see what the moisture levels are, because as we know, elevated moisture around through-hull fittings or on a hull side, these are all balsa cord boats. So 1/4 inch fiberglass, balsa core in the middle, like 1/2 to 3/4 inch, and then 1/4 inch fiberglass. So definitely going to want to check that when the boat's out of the water. But anyway, the first thing I notice is these covers. When you pull these covers off, the fiberglass underneath and the plexiglass and all that, even the helm station, is super clean. I mean, it's dirty, but this will clean right up with a little bit of vinyl cleaner. I think all these cushions are going to come back nicely. Just looking, we got the beautiful Tiara logos on the throttles. Everything's labeled nicely, which I love personally. Shifters feel good, and then all the original gauges. The one thing I was told is that the hours are significantly off. I'm not sure if this hour meter stopped working, but we're about 500 hours or 450 hours difference on the 2 hour meters. And then of course some older electronics here, but then a newer Garmin down below, which is very nice to have. So let's go check out the cabin real quick before we peek at the engines. I want to say this boat has Caterpillars in it, but part of me thinks it's 5.9 Cummins. So I was told the cabin is in immaculate condition, and they were right. The cabin is beautiful, guys. The teak and holly floors are gorgeous. Real big bed up forward. Part of me wants to say this is a 3800 and not a 3500, but I could be totally wrong. Nice electric grill, big sink, all the cabinets we're aware of, big refrigerator, nice big bathroom. I don't know, guys, everything seems a lot bigger on this boat than the Pursuit, which is surprising. Yeah, this may be a 3800. We'll see what the overall size comes out to. Nice convertible berth over here, as well as nice seating area. They've obviously got panels off right now to access, so it looks like a newer charger, water heater, through-hull fittings. This is where you don't normally find them soft, and it sounds pretty solid. And of course we got battery switch access, which all of them are on, which is interesting. And the chargers and the bilges were off. That's also interesting. Well, let those run for a second. I'll tell you how much it's leaking or not. Let's see. All of our batteries have juice. We got some cabin lights maybe in here. No lights. We got shore power. We don't need generator switch on. Battery charger. Alright, well, that's a good sign. Our auto bilge just kicked off. I mean, it doesn't smell gross down here. There is some water in this forward compartment, but I hope that drains as we drive back. I mean, honestly, guys, this thing is, yeah, it is very, very clean. I'm pretty happy with how the owner kept up with this thing. It looks like it was maintained really well. All right, let's hop down into the engine compartment and see what kind of motors we're dealing with. Oh, Jesus, what do we do? It was very mad, but we do have fuel. Looks like voltage on one side is low. We'll probably parallel batteries to start. Alright, shut that off. Steering moves just fine. Dare say, does the engine hatch work? Where is the switch? Hatch lift? Oh. It does work. That's pretty shocking. Oh yeah, and it does have caterpillars. Couple nice 3116s maybe. Alright, we'll leave it as that. And a nice Fisher Panda generator. Oh yeah. Okay, so we got a couple nice 3116 cats. I'll check that. I'm just saying based on what they look like right now. I'm on a time crunch. I gotta pick up the owner here in a little bit, but let's see what time it is. Alright, we're doing good on time. It's 8:53. Let's sneak in here quick without, I don't want to step on the generator too much, but we'll step on the engine mount here. Clearly, these engines haven't been serviced since 2014, but my God, do they look clean, guys. Let's see. Yep, 3116s, 350 horsepower at peace. We got a little bit of water leakage, but that's not super concerning. I'm sure that's from just sitting in the hatch. All right, here's our engine oil. So let me sneak around. Hold the dipstick. Oil smells good. I'm not noticing any milkiness. Look how clean the exhausts are. Let's check the oil on this one. Again, it looks good, no milkiness. Smells fine, smells like diesel oil. You know, something that's been sitting this long or hasn't been serviced in forever, I'm definitely going to recommend changing oil filters and fuel filters. Does it have coolant in the reservoirs? Yep, coolant in the reservoirs. So that's good. I'm checking all this stuff because we're going to be moving it today, and I want to make sure that when we go to fire them up, there's no overheating or issues. That one definitely got coolant. It just burped at me for some reason, so probably should watch that. Great, now I got coolant all over my hand. We'll wash that off later. Yeah, I mean, these got big old ZF transmissions. I'll check the oil on those here. little bit. Let's get out of here. All right, nice. Pretty happy with the engines. Now let's figure out what year these batteries are. I'm not quite sure. And are our through-hull fittings open? Whew. All right, they are not. So I'm glad I checked that because we need to open those. I got the port through-hull intake open, but the starboard one is just seized. So I'm gonna have to go grab a hammer and tap that thing. All of our fuel valves are open. Port engine's drawn off the starboard tank, starboard off the port. But let's see. It's probably time. Yeah, I run up and go meet this owner at the haul out marina, and then we'll come back and keep messing with the boat. But first impressions, I'm pretty impressed with the condition the boat's in. It can definitely use a spit shine, and the engines and systems for sure need to be gone through to make sure everything's up to snuff. But I'm pretty hopeful of the condition that this boat's in, that it'll clean up quite nicely. Hopefully everything checks out to be solid. All right, we'll check back when we get back with the owner. I'm gonna come back with a pair of pliers, some gloves, and a hammer to open that through hull fitting. Well, the engine's fired right up after sitting forever. I'm sorry I didn't catch that, but this oil pressure gauge isn't working, but it definitely has oil pressure. Transmission pressures are good. They both kicked right over. Really clean, guys. Very happy with how those fired up. So we've got plenty of oil pressure. Clearly this gauge isn't working. The engines are coming up to temperature, but we're gonna go in and out of gear real quick here. So we'll do this side. Yep, there's our transmission oil pressure dips, like always. Yeah, it looks like our port gauge isn't working, but that's an easy little fix. All that matters is we have gear.
All the hoses look like minimal water.
Great. Oh, all the hoses look great.
And just make sure all the clamps are tight.
Yep. Yep. Oh, they sound wonderful. They're flowing water nicely. Nice, quiet. fast and slow. Very happy. Well, we're getting her untied. Getting ready to head out of the slip. I'm just absolutely enamored that the caterpillars fired right up and they sound like they do. It's just super smooth. But no doubt she needs a good cleanup and some maintenance to make sure everything looks good. But we're going to take her out of the creek here. We're going to a marine haul out yard just around the corner. So it'll be a short boat ride and we'll be able to test some systems and maybe even see if she gets on plane. Beautiful. Transmissions are very smooth. Nice ZF drives. Lower angle working. Beautiful. All right, so far so good. Getting out of the creek. Transmission and engine sound healthy. No overheating issues. Trudging right along. It really is. I mean, these boats are everywhere here and around Annapolis. So we'll get her cleaned up and hopefully get her off to a new home. We'll get her on plane here shortly. Again, this is the open style boat, so definitely the preferred layout. No hard top, it's just a bimini top with isinglass. So this all pops off if you want. Does have a radar, does have a newer Garmin. Engine temps holding right at 180. Thermostat's opened up. Oil pressure at 30. Remember, this gauge doesn't work, so both charging. Solid transmission pressures. Just gotta avoid all the sailboats. Yeah. Get out past the Navy guys. Take her to 1500. Drop our trim tabs. Engines are staying steady. Turn the autopilot on, see if that'll hold our course. Alright, there's 1500. Nice mushing speed. No crazy smoke or anything like that. I'm seeing a lot of particles in the water. That tells me it's shedding a lot of stuff off the bottom. Let's adjust our heading here a little bit.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it could stay straight that line. It's got stuff on the props.
Yep. There we go. Autopilot's working. Just moved us over a little bit. And it's pointing right towards the spider mark. All right. Yeah, no crazy smoke. I like that. 8.9 knots. Temperatures are holding. Let this little sailboat cross, hopefully. And we'll bring her up to about 1800 or so. 1750. Cut the autopilot back over a touch. 1800. Should plane out. You see all sorts of stuff coming off the bottom. Smoke is okay. Let's give her a little nudge. It's just over 1800. Temps are fine. Give her a little bit more. We'll go to 1950. 1950. There she goes. Alright, just shy of 2100. Good temperatures. On 13 knots or so. Do 2300. Go to 25. Leave it at that for now. Take a little tab off. Tab on. Looks like, yep, there we go. There goes our tabs. Very nice. 18.5 knots. Good tips. Alright, we're going to cut her around. Towards the haul-out marina. Mile-an-hour mark. Definitely down on a little speed, but I think a good bottom cleaning and a prop cleaning will clean her up just fine. Come off plane here. Right back to idle speeds. Look at that. Temp gauges didn't even waver. Right at 185, 190 right now. It's perfect. Batteries are charging up. They were at 14, they've kicked down just a bit. And the fuel gauges are almost spot on identical. Alright. We made it into the marina, guys. I'm really happy with how this thing ran after it sat in the slip for a couple years. It definitely needs some maintenance. The bottom needs to be cleaned up. Need to go through a few systems just to make sure everything turns on and is working properly. But we're gonna get this thing docked, and it's gonna come straight out of the water, and we'll take a peek at what the bottom looks like and see if there's well, once it gets blocked on land, we'll do a little more walking through and around the boat and give you guys a better idea of what you're getting into. Well, there you go. It's out of the water, and I can already tell just by looking at it there was a lot of growth on the bottom. Power washer cleaned it up pretty good, but I'm looking at a lot of barnacles on the props and the bottom of this boat. But let's go walk around real quick just so you guys get a good idea, and I think that's where we're going to cap off this initial video on this future listing. So again, the boat needs a great cleaning. The bottom's actually not in terrible condition, probably a good scuff and repaint, but something's got to be done about all these barnacles on the running gear. And I can confirm this is a 3500 open, so big boat, nice and wide, big beam, tons of space, but same exact hull bottom as my Pursuit, and pretty good looking boat. Like we were talking about, I was talking about this with the seller, but boat wasn't listing, it was sitting nicely on its lines. There you guys can get a good idea of the tunnel, little quarter tunnels in the back of the boat. Anodes are all intact, doing their job. I mean, those actually look pretty good for anodes that have been sitting in Back Creek, Annapolis for 3 years without being hauled out. Our trim tabs were working. Yeah, look at all those barnacles. No wonder we were down on speed. And this thing is just caked, but paint putty knife will take those things right off. And honestly, we're probably, until we get to the stage where people are coming to look at this thing, I'm gonna leave it dirty and then have a really good detail done to it once we get around to showing it to people. We got a little cracking here, which we'll have to look and see. I'll pull my meter out. Let me go grab that from the truck real quick. There's the bulkhead. It doesn't sound flat like my Pursuit did, but we'll check around all these through hulls. It all sounds the same. Now I'll pull the moisture meter out and just see what we're dealing with. We're gonna cap it off. I'll grab the meter. I'll throw that footage at the end of the video here. If you guys are interested in helping get your boat sold, reach out to me, because I'm doing more of this stuff now where you know, older boats, I know it can be hard to find a decent broker and somebody that has decent knowledge about these boats and knows what they're talking about and can go through it, kind of give you a fair idea of what actually needs to be done to get it sale worthy, and then actually get it sold. I know a lot of you guys follow this stuff because you like these boats, and I know these old Tiaras and the new ones fairly well. So reach out to me if you need help getting a boat sold. Be happy to swing by, take a look at the boat, film a video about it, and help you guys out. So as always, Boat Restoration by Ben. If you're interested in this 1999 Tiara 3500 open, drop a comment, shoot me an email. Email is in my description. You can also contact us on my website, boatrestorationbyben.com, and you can get in line for this boat. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next video. See ya. All right, we got the old handy dandy moisture meter out, and here's my finger on the back of it, overloading it because my finger is wet. But let's go straight to the through hull. Bet it's caused all the problems on my boat. And of course, we do have some elevated moisture around that through hull fitting, which is expected. As you go above it, we're within normal ranges, but below it, we definitely have some water in there. So we're gonna have to pull that through hull out and see what's going on. It is fairly isolated though. I come back, we're dry in this region, so it's only, it's even not terrible. Let's see. Boom, so it stops right there. So we're looking at like a, let me see if I can draw with my finger. We're looking at about, well, it's really just below it, an area below it, which is okay. So we got about a foot or so below this through hull fitting that's showing elevated moisture. That is gonna be typical, but then, you know, let's check back here. Yeah, look, dry as can be. We'll calm down. Yeah, look at that, 7%. Remember, this whole shelf, you know, everything below this shelf is solid glass, but this shelf is where the balsa coring is. So, you know, you check, yeah, everything around here is very, very reasonable. A little bit elevated around the portholes, but it's still within the dry realm. This is where we're concerned though, with where it's reading 68, 90, 30, 50, 30, yeah, 79. It's like right down here. It's wet somewhere. So that needs to be cleaned out. I'll check the anchor locker. We got a little bit of cracking up there. Let's go to these other through hulls. We'll check mid hull here. 7.7. 8. 11. 7. Yeah, these through hulls are good to go, guys. That's great. So nice and solid around these. I would probably recommend recalking them. Either way. Solid up there. Let's check by our engine vent. 8.6. Elevated moisture around this fitting here. So we got definitely some moisture around these two big fittings. Let's go up. But it's isolated, so yep, so we got a few spots right around these through hull fittings where moisture is elevated. So I'm sure some caulking, and it stops right about there. So we got about a foot around these two through hull fittings that has some wet coring. Again, not structural items. I'm just pointing them out. This boat is structural due to the shape it has. Now, if you had a full delamination issue like my boat had, you'd see spider cracking on the hull side. These are concentrated, isolated areas of wetness around these through hull fittings because this caulking fails. It's straight into balsa coring, and that balsa wicks any moisture outward. So just being transparent about this stuff. And then back here, like, look, this fitting is pulling away. I mean, I have no doubt it's going to be elevated around that fitting. How far though? Yeah, it only goes out about a foot, and it doesn't go up. So, and it's dry back here because we know that's solid glass. So, you know, a little bit of elevated moisture around those two fittings back there, and then back here, solid glass. That's bottom paint, which reads wet. Let's keep going. These transoms, I think, are cord, 6.5%. This is all something that a surveyor is going to find, so I'm highly going to recommend whoever buys this get a survey done, and they're going to find these exact same things. So there you go. Slightly elevated moisture at this through hull fitting. It goes up and around because these have elevated moisture as well. They're in the 30s is what I'm reading, guys. But then you go up and it dies out. So again, a little bit elevated moisture around these right here. High 20s all in this region. 30s, 50s. All right, so it's getting 60s, 50s. All right, so we got a wet patch of coring here. Let's see how far. 60s. It's not pegging the meter by any means, but there we go. And let's see where it tapers off. So we got a decent stretch here from the engine vent forward where we have elevated moisture. So I'll talk to the seller about this. Again, this is common for these Tiaras. You can see spider cracking along here. That's gonna help bring that price on this boat down a little bit for somebody that wants to have this repair made. Again, you don't have to. You can run the boat just like this. People run them for many years. Yeah, and it's dry up here. A little more elevated moisture up forward where the anchor locker fails, but yeah, not surprising to me. We've got some elevated moisture in this wall here due to some bad through-hull fittings. So, all right, let me just clarify something for everybody. You could run the boat, because of how mechanically sound it is, just like this for many, many years to come without issue, with the wet coring that it has in a few spots. That said, I would pull the through-hull fittings, replace them and seal them up. That way your wetting issues is capped off, so you're not adding more water to the problem. But you can run this boat for many, many more years as it sits right now without doing that hull side repair. If it were me, I would buy this boat because of the mechanical condition that it's in, replace the through-hull fittings, seal them up, run it for many, many more years until its value is what it is. So I would take that into consideration when looking at this boat as an opportunity for you, because of the condition that the mechanical space is in and the condition that it is down below. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna get you a number for what it would cost to have the delamination, the wet coring issues fixed, as well as a new paint job, which can literally be done in the next service yard over. So moving the boat there and all that is no issue at all. But you'll have multiple options, so you'll have an idea of what it's going to cost to make the fix. If you want to put that kind of money into this boat, also, just know you can use this boat for many, many years as it sits currently. All right, I'll catch you next time. Looking forward to hearing from you.